Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Nerdsters of the Universe. I'm Kerwin,
I'm Pizza.
and man, what you been up to this week, Pizza?
Well, going through withdrawal from no Star Trek this week.
Yeah,
I watched the Orville. I got caught up on the Orville. This week I liked. But yeah, I was real good with that. So we might get into spoilers with that. I don't know if you got to watch it yet or caught up yet.
you're getting the spoilers. I haven't had a chance to catch up. I've been working on some stuff with the shop. We're working on in the crafting world with our craft shop. We're working on release papers.
Oh,
We started sending some out with orders as swag, and the consensus is they want them.
all right.
So
Go.
we've been going
Matthew.
we've been going hardcore trying to get all that set up, along with getting orders out. I mean, I've still got some orders I got to do tonight. So, but yeah, that and work. But yeah, no, man. Show I watched was the season finale of Miss Marvel,
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
and I watched Thor: Love and Thunder this past weekend.
Did you? How was it?
Dude, I loved it. But at the same time, you put me in that movie, it's going to be rose-colored glasses the entire movie. Because it's a Guns N' Roses soundtrack.
All right.
I'm just saying, it might have been, it could have been better. Yes, I saw the flaws, but at the same time, like, the moment Guns N' Roses started playing, I was like, I wouldn't watch it at the drive-in because we'll do that for the, opening weekend, sit in the theater, numerous people pay, $12 a person for 3 or 4 people, or pay $22 a carload, drive an hour, have your own snacks, have your own drinks, kick back, and watch the movie. That's, it's not as great as inside the theater, but Ashley was getting mad because, we had the windows down, so we're not cramped in the car. And I'm sitting there, anytime the music's playing, I've got my hand out the window. I'm just like, yeah. And she's like, stop it. You're embarrassing me. I don't care. I got some GNR playing, man. This is my jam.
I haven't been to a drive-in in probably 23, 24 years. They don't have them around here anymore. They used to have them up in central New York, Elmira, New York, where I used to live with my first wife. But even then, nothing around here anymore.
Yeah, no, man. I love the drive-in.
They used to have.
I wish we had.
They used to have 2 or 3. They had 2 or 3 of them here when I was growing up, right in the area, and we used to sneak in under the fence when we were teenagers in the back, and we'd sit in the very back of the thing and listen to the little speakers they used to have, the ones you used to hook onto your car window.
Yeah.
Now I think you tune your radio into a certain thing now, and
yeah, you tune your radio. They've got they transmit on a station, and you tune into that.
Yeah.
I wish they'd make a comeback. I honestly do. I love the drive-in. Like I said, we got one an hour away in Moberly. Go to that one. I know there's one in Illinois across the river. Looking a little bit more, about 2.5 hours away, 2 hours away.
Yeah.
To go to that one. Anytime, like sometimes whenever we do a weekend in St. Louis, if we're bored and they've got a movie showing we want, because the best part is they're always double features.
Yeah.
And I was nice to Crashly. I didn't make, I had the opportunity. It was already paying. It was already paid. I could sit there and watch the movie, but they were tired, wanted to go home, and they weren't interested in Top Gun. And I was like, well, we can go home.
Which one, the new one or the old one?
The new one.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I was like,
Kerwin had a Spider-Man story.
Okay.
Crashly got bit by a spider, and then she met Kerwin, and they fell in love.
Okay. We had I can't believe she didn't want to see Top Gun. Holy cow!
She hadn't seen the first one, and she don't like it. It's like pulling teeth getting her to watch a movie that was made pre-95.
Mm-hmm.
Even movies in the 90s, it's hard to get her to movies that were made in the 90s. She loves the digital look. She doesn't like the film look.
Oh man, you know what? Just start off like show her on YouTube the volleyball scene, and then let her go from there, and then just put it on.
Oh
For
no,
her.
she wouldn't like the volleyball scene. She'd think it was cheesy and annoying.
Really?
Yeah, the whole and that's the thing with her, that like she loves Pirates of the Caribbean, but as far as any pre 2000 Jerry Bruckheimer storylines, she's not. That's not her cup of tea.
Oh,
The
wow.
whole like montage idea and stuff like that. Like, I got her to sit down and watch Rambo. I know Rambo's not Bruckheimer, but I got her to sit down and watch Rambo. She enjoyed the first Rambo movie, and then she watched First Blood and was kind of like, eh. And then by Rambo 3, she's like,
She's out.
and then by Rambo 4, she was like, nope, this is too graphic. This is too annoying. She's
Yeah,
like,
that was
the
a
first
bad
one. Was good because it had depth, and it did. The first Rambo movie had its depth and everything, and the other ones were more just action films. And then when Rambo Last Blood came out, she sat down. She's like, I'll try to watch it with you because I watched the other ones. And as soon as people started dying, she was like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the last one.
Oh,
I own it.
Absolutely loved Rambo Last Blood.
Really?
Oh yeah, I loved that one. That one was one of my favorites. I'd say Rambo 3 is my least favorite. I'd say it's probably Rambo. I'd say my favorites: Rambo, Last Blood, and then well, not Rambo. First Blood, the first Rambo movie, and then Rambo Last Blood, then Rambo, which is the fourth one. I would say those are my top 3.
I like 1 and 2. I liked 1 and 2. And
2 was fun with me. 2, my problem with 2 is it was too. I love 80s action, but it was straight die-hard 80s off the wall action.
I was also still in the military then, when there with the whole big finding the POWs and everything was still a big deal back then.
Yeah,
and I was in the military then, so
the story was great. The dialogue. See, that's one thing that I've always liked about Rambo is the dialogue.
Yeah,
like there are some one-liner, but the way some of the dialogue is written, is like the interaction. I think it was Rambo 2. Yeah, it was the second Rambo. Wow, the second Rambo, where he's having that dialogue towards the very end with that commander.
Yeah,
I mean, just beautiful dialogue, just straight up off the tongue, beautiful dialogue. I mean, don't get me wrong. With me, it's just the style of the film, and I like all of them. I really do like all of them. I can sit down and watch them and enjoy them. It's not one of those like Rambo,
I just watched.
Sit down and watch it. I'd say the thing I loved, like, with me, Rambo Last Stand, to me, brought it back home. I know it technically did because it came back to the States in a sense, but it brought it back home in it was more of a personal story to Rambo. Like Rambo 2 was personal to the Rambo. I mean, First Blood Part 2 was personal to him. It was going and finding these POWs that were in the same war he was in. But it was personal on a war sense. Like First Blood was personal because it was him dealing with what's going on. The second one is him being the hero to help people who fought in the same war he did. The third one was him being a hero to people who were fighting in this new war. And then the fourth one was him being a good Samaritan in the place he's living, basically.
Yeah, I know the third one was still when Afghanistan and the United States were still friends, when Russia still occupied.
Russia was But then by the time that with Last Blood, where he is straight up, he's found his peace. He's found home. He's at his dad's, the property that his dad owned. He's on his farm, basically. He's got his new family.
Digging tunnels everywhere.
Well, because he's still Rambo.
Yeah. I thought the tunnels, when they showed the tunnels, I was like, oh my God.
He's still got his issues. Like that's how he worked them out. I don't think he was really planning anything. That's what I felt. Like to me, it didn't feel like the character was planning something. It was just that was what he had to do something. He had to stay busy. What do you do when you're out there? Well, he could build tunnels. It was just something he did, and it came in handy. I mean, it was still very sad, the storyline of it and everything, but I don't know why I got so far off track. We're talking about Rambo now when we started talking about Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I didn't see it when it opened, and I think it was because I listened to the critics, which I got to learn not to do, because I should have just went and saw it like I wanted to, but after Thor Dark World, I didn't really like that one. So I'm like, I could wait till it comes out on HBO Max or Disney or whatever. So I kind of waited.
So I got a question for you, Pete. So the critics you listen to, do you normally like their decisions? Do you have the same taste in
it's
movies
gone like
do?
50-50. It's people I hang around with up here and talk to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are like, oh, I loved it. Oh, my God, I hated it. Oh, my God, I loved it. Thor, Love and Thunder. Kerwin loved it. But then, and then it's like I do half and half. Because a lot of them said Multiverse of Madness, they all said, I didn't like it. But then I watched it, and I liked it.
I love Multiverse of Madness was great. Like, so many people, I think what the problem is, right? The problem is these people get these ideas in their head on how it's supposed to be. Then they also take and nitpick every little tiny thing that has to do with it.
Yeah.
And take that as absolute. Take it as absolute. And it's like, it's not absolute. Like, I'm on this comic book group right now. Or there's a group on Facebook that I'm part of. And I just got on there and I was like, because everybody's talking about the X-Men now and stuff because Multiverse of Madness had Xavier in it. And spoiler, mutation, the word mutation and the theme song to the X-Men cartoon was in the season finale of Miss Marvel. But so that's a big talk right now, and I was thinking about it, and I know in the past I have said I think it'd be cool to like have Xavier use Cerebro to mask, mutants out, do a trilogy type thing. But the more I thought about it after Multiverse of Madness came out and WandaVision came out, I'm like, honestly, the only visual media we have of pre-Phase 1 of events that take place worldwide prior to Iron Man is Captain America, First Avenger, Captain Marvel,
mm-hmm.
and Eternals. Backstory.
Mm-hmm.
None of those have events where mutants are pertinent. Heck, Captain America comic books ran from 1941 to 1963 without even mentioning a mutant because the X-Men didn't come out till 1963.
Yeah.
And then they were able to still put X-Men into the Captain America, into the same universe. So it went 20 years without mutants even so Captain America First Avenger doesn't even need to mention mutants. It was one storyline about Captain America. Captain Marvel, why do they need to mention mutants? Most of the movie takes place on Kree, in space on a different planet, or basically in a military base. Whether it be in Shield's base or on the Air Force base, or in the house. There wasn't a lot of, we need to be around where mutants are. So those movies, mutants could have completely existed, and some people even know about them, but they didn't pertain to the story. They weren't world crisis events that mutants would get involved in, that any other superhero would get involved in.
Yeah.
Yes. Attack on New York and the Avengers, that's an Avengers level threat. Thanos showing up, Endgame. Yeah, why weren't the mutants there? That makes sense. What's going on? So the way I thought about it, and I was like, well, how could we have mutants without doing the whole oh, we're just going to have a different reality collide with this one and bring mutants in from a different universe and try to make it mesh as one. Like, because it worked in the Arrowverse with bringing, Kara's Earth over to Barry's Earth, and to me that's lazy. That's just a lazy way to bring two stories together because you've painted yourself in a corner in a sense. So the more I thought about it, the more I was like, the story's there. The story's there. Imagine mutants existing pre Iron Man.
Yeah.
And imagine that they weren't 100% known. Not everyone knew about them. They weren't out per se. Not to get political, please. Don't take this as political, anybody watching. But an example would be the LGBTQ community. That community's been around forever. But there was a long period of time that they weren't out because they were scared to be.
Yeah.
But now you talk to some people that are like, oh, yeah, the world's doing this. And, oh, now we've got all the... Nothing's changed. You just know about it now. So, in my thoughts, it would be something similar to that not everyone knows about. You don't know if your next door neighbor's a mutant or not. You know what I'm saying? And then I was thinking more going along with, I know you don't know much about Marvel, and I didn't, I caught up on some of the storylines in the aughts and so forth past 20 years. But like the National Security Agency with their, what was that? Wide Awake, Project Wide Awake or something. I was thinking something along those lines where you had an agency, maybe even just an international agency, not just a U.S. agency, one that nations had put together. That sort of like an antagonist, government antagonist that is trying to not only study mutants, subdue mutants, keep the mutant population down, but also keep mutants out of the mindset of the average citizen. Basically it'd be like if aliens were real and they were among us, would the government be like, oh yeah, they're real, they're among you? Or would they constantly keep going, no, that's a hoax, no, that's fake, no, that didn't really happen? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hello, Queen! Hello, Queen!
Queen, what's up? Have an agency like that. And then I was trying to think, I was like, well, what would happen to take mutants outside of the realm of the current MCU phases up until Endgame, up until now, that would allow us to put them back in without causing major continuity issues? Then it dawned on me. Remember WandaVision? We only saw snippets of Wanda's past, and they were not full, this is what happened. It was, this is what happened in Wanda's mind situation. It was her memories she suppressed resurfacing.
Yeah.
We have yet to know what was going on in Sokovia at the time. Just that there was a war. Whose war? Who was fighting Sokovia? Why were these people being bombed? Is it something as simple? Not simple, not trying to downplay, but is it something as not explainable as like Russia versus Ukraine? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's just one country decided it was going to invade the other one and start bombing cities?
Yeah.
Or was there something else going on? And I was like, well, what if this international agency was doing this to try to suppress mutants and the mutants were fighting back? What if Sokovia was sort of like a mutant haven, like a come to us, like we don't subscribe to these laws, be yourself. And that's partially, and this battle's going on in Sokovia in 1998. And during this battle between mutants and whoever's fighting, the bombs get dropped. And that is what blows up that's what ends up killing Wanda's parents. Because in WandaVision, they still don't say who they're fighting. Pietro goes, she goes, or Wanda goes, "Do you hear that?" And Pietro goes, "Yeah." "Do you think they're coming to save us?" And then Wanda goes, "Or maybe they sent it." Who's they?
Yeah, we don't know.
Could they be mutants? Like Pietro being like, "Are the mutants coming to save us?" And is Wanda being more like, maybe they sent it, being scared? You know what I'm saying? And from then, we see Wanda actually use her powers to disarm the bomb so it doesn't go off, make it malfunction. Yeah. And we don't see anything after that. Like, it sort of like just gets sucked out of the memory. Right?
There's a whole lot of different things with it, but yeah, go ahead.
There are. But what if we could do that? To have mutants exist just fine. Do like a movie, and throughout that movie, we've got all that going on. And in the final, at the end, it's a battle in Sokovia between the mutants in the end, and the final ending is her stopping the bomb, and her being just she just tapped into her Nexus being powers of chaos magic. You know, she's the Scarlet Witch that the Mind Stone helped her hone the powers and use the powers and understand the powers, but she'd already had the powers. So this 10-year-old girl who's scared to death for her life, scared for her brother's life, and scared, they just lost their parents. This bomb's going off. She's wanting the bomb to stop. She just wants all the fighting to stop. And at the same time, is worried, what if the mutants send it? So at that point, stops the bomb and then utters 3 words: no more mutants. Because if there's no more mutants, there's no more fighting. And at that moment, no more mutants.
Nothing.
Erases the mutant powers and creates, because it's her magic. She's a magical creature, magical being. Her magic sort of does what Doctor Strange's spell did at the end of No Way Home, and basically makes the world forget about mutants. Just like the world forgot about Peter Parker being Spider-Man, the world forgot about mutants. So you could have all the way up to 1998, you could have a pre-mutant world. And then, boom, no more mutants. Yes, it's not when Scarlet Witch is all powerful and everything, doing no more mutants after House of M. However, it's still Scarlet Witch using her powers. And she wouldn't fully know it. She suppressed these memories. In WandaVision, there's fighting. There's a war going on outside, and her family decides to sit down, have TV dinners, and watch I Love Lucy. I don't buy that memory 100%.
Yeah.
I could see maybe that the news is playing on the TV, giving them updates as to what's going on, the battle outside, mutants being mentioned, so now she knows what the battle's about. And then her parents knowing that she's powerful, knowing that she could be a mutant, their son could be a mutant, Pietro could still be a mutant. But knowing that she's powerful, goes, we need to calm her down. Because who knows what happened the last time she threw a fit.
Yeah.
Right? So then they put on her favorite show and sit down and put on this facade. Yeah. Outside the wall, they're fighting, bombs, guns. You can hear it in the backflash thing. But they're sitting down like a happy family watching I Love Lucy. Like that I can totally get.
Yeah.
And then when she comes in contact with the Mind Stone, it unlocks her, unlocks what she suppressed, allows her to hone it better, and then she saved Pietro from it killing him. But at the same time, because he's got a mutant gene, it allows it to unlock his after she said no more mutants. Then, well, how do we get mutants back if she said no more mutants?
Yeah.
Well, at that point, at the end of Multiverse of Madness, when Wanda red poofs, who knows where she goes? She's a Nexus being. She doesn't have the ability to transfer from, she doesn't have the same abilities that America Chavez has, but she does have the ability to transport in a sense. Maybe at that moment, maybe that clarification, perhaps seeing Xavier from the other universe opened up that mental block of going, I did this. I've been on a negative path since that day, altering realities. I need to stop. Poof. Mutants again.
I know Robbie was saying that they've been around because he said Wolverine even served with Captain America
Yeah, and one of the
in one of what?
in the I think it's either the Avengers cartoon and one of the Wolverine comics.
One of the
They worked
Wolverine
in
comics. They
World
worked
War
in
I.
this
Yes,
world together.
See, that's the thing is Wolverine did serve with Captain. They've been around. Wolverines is in the 1800s type stuff.
Yeah,
But what I'm talking about is just because we haven't seen them doesn't mean they aren't there.
right.
Granted, when you have the Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Infinity War and Endgame, especially Endgame, Infinity War can be explained away because who would have told them what's going on? If you look at what happened in Infinity War, these aliens showed up, and then right after they showed up, within 10 minutes of them showing up, like it was just one little fight, they leave. And it's only because the Avengers know that they're coming that they go to Wakanda, and then they show back up in Wakanda and fight in Wakanda. And if you notice, even S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So how would the X-Men know? How would any mutants that were alive know? I get that. However, Endgame is a different story. Why wouldn't they get pulled into Endgame to fight?
I think Marvel's just waiting to see a good way they can put it together. Like I
just gave a good way they could put it together.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
that the beauty of it is they could utilize, since they own Fox, they could utilize what worked in the Fox universe, utilize different aspects of those stories. Continue with Magneto being a Holocaust survivor. Continue with that storyline per se, because we've got an older Xavier in Multiverse of Madness. They could continue that and have a complete X-Men trilogy, if they wanted, pre-98, focusing on the original X-Men characters. You could focus on Angel, Beast, those characters from the original X-Men run, even some of them from the Uncanny X-Men run after Giant Size X-Men #1 came out. But at the same time, you could focus those on those films on those characters. And then for present day MCU, you can focus on the new X-Men characters that have come out. You could keep fresh for present day. Before No More Mutants, have your older X-Men characters, and then present day.
I just think it's going to be coming soon, like everybody, because you figure in Multiverse they had Xavier, they had Reed Richards. In there as well. I think that's all going to be coming. And I just found out, little fact, that Bolt, oh my God, what's his name? Black Bolt.
Black Bolt.
That was Anson Mount.
Yeah, he played Black Bolt in Inhumans.
I didn't know that.
He played Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV series.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch that.
But I think everybody feels like Kevin Feige just does not want the Inhumans at all in the MCU. In 616 MCU. Like, it can be an alternate universe. But the reason people are saying that is because, spoiler alert, spoilers for Miss Marvel, it looks like they're going to make her a mutant.
Yeah.
She's clandestine. She is clandestine. She does have the bangle that gives her powers, but she's, and they did make her powers a lot more like they were in the comics.
Yeah.
And at the same time, at the very end, her friend, which at the same time, this is a teenage kid in high school making this comment. He's not a geneticist. He's smart for his age, yes, but at the same time, we can't take his word for it 100% because he's not an expert in the field of genetics. Right. He's just based off what he saw in his own little makeshift high school lab or whatever. But he goes, I looked at your DNA more, and there was a gene in there that it was more of a mutation.
Ooh, there it is.
It was a mutation. And then it played the theme, the cartoon. And then she goes, whatever, it'd just be another label anyway.
Yeah.
And move on. And it's like they're going to shoehorn it and try to make her a mutant, which is fine. The original idea was to make Miss Marvel a mutant, but I think they went ahead with a human. I don't know why, but it did. Queen, you watched what? It wasn't good. The
Inhumans. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
No,
I wasn't a huge fan of it.
I have to
But
agree.
that was also, I think, a big part of that too. Was it was a network TV series that wasn't allowed to be in the MCU.
Mm,
I seriously think that was a problem. I get the same. An example would be Pizza. Did you watch Agents of Shield?
in the beginning, I started to.
In the beginning, you started to, and
Yeah.
it was good in the beginning.
Yeah,
And then the moment they were not allowed to really be in the MCU, it went to crap.
yeah. I wasn't.
I think that's what the part of the problem was. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Just didn't. I got to watch something, and if it doesn't catch me right away, it kind of falls to the wayside until I get around to something. Like I watched, I watched Strange New Worlds. I'm keeping up on Orville, but I almost went like a teenager without a phone this week because I didn't have any Star Trek to watch. So I started watching Discovery again. I started with season 2 though, with Pike and the Enterprise and Control and all that. And now I'm on season 3 again. Or no. Yeah, season 3 I'm on.
Just
And
like
it just-
Klingon thing, huh?
Huh?
It just
I'm gonna be. I'll march up and down the street with a flag for that one. I'm like, none of these Discovery Klingons, I'm told that Klingons are supposed to be going back to what they were, and I think we're even going to get. Because my cousin works at Paramount. He works in the props department for these shows,
Mhm.
and I know he's not allowed to say anything because they're monitored hard, social media, things like that. And he flat out won't tell me because he doesn't want to lose the cake loving job he's got. He's got a job, and I don't blame him. I would be like, I ain't saying shit, but he was kind of hinting to a TOS style Klingon, like some that were affected by the mutation, some that weren't.
Which
Yeah.
okay.
That's why he described to me what they were saying with their explanation of the season 1 Klingons in Discovery is the Klingon Ridges, and they were practically an isolationist group that weren't affected by anything, literally pure blood Klingon.
Yeah, Holoquin, they are NDA'd out the yin yang. That's an easy way to lose your job and get sued.
Yeah, they are the everything, and I don't. That's why I said even the little props now they're making when they're pouring something or printing something have trackers embedded in them now and things like that. The foam heads they're printed, like the latex prosthetics are 3D printed foam latex now, and they have like chips or numbers or something in it he said it's gotten crazy over the years. Like every single Mirror Universe badge they had, just like the Starfleet comm badges and things like that, their names were on the back. They had little tracker things popped in them.
Mm-hmm.
Not anything that like transmits, but then if you wanted to find it, you could find it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you scanned over someone's bag when they were leaving, and it was in there with one,
You're done. Yeah, man. And I understand why they had to do it in DS9 because they brought in characters that were in the original series,
Yeah.
Klingon-wise, and they changed the way that they looked.
Right.
If it hadn't been for those characters, I would have felt like they went too deep into an explanation. They tried to go too far with it. Sort of like how the Eternals went too far with trying to explain why they weren't involved in Thanos. Like, oh, it was because we don't. Just say you didn't get involved because you didn't know what was going on. You're not all-knowing beings. You know what you see. You know what you perceive. You weren't there when he showed up. Big deal. We can live with that. Move on. And I always imagined the better way for them to have described what happened with the Klingons if it hadn't been for Galeron and the other. Who's the other one that they brought in?
Martok, Gowron.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for bringing in those characters that were original series characters, to me, the best explanation would have been for them to look at Worf during the Trebles episode of DS9, go, what happened? And him just look back and being like, so you're telling me all humans look alike?
That would have been good. I just like the way they just said, we don't discuss it with outsiders. That was perfect.
Yeah, it was. And they turned around and
Enterprise.
At that point, they're like, oh, we got to do this whole thing where they did this whole genetic stuff. To me, it would have been hilarious if it would have been like, you're telling me all humans look alike?
Yeah.
Because that was like we were talking last week. Don't want to get too far into it because we talked about it last week with the Gorn and stuff. You know, it's like I want to make a show where you've got one character that is, you know, the guy from Game of Thrones that was in Game in Infinity War.
I'm not sure.
Or not in Game.
I literally have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Well, he played Trask in X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Oh,
What's his name?
I can't say that. I saw one episode of Game of Thrones, and it's only because someone told me to watch The Red Wedding, where like everybody died in the one hall. That was it. It's the only one I think.
Kit Harington was the one in Eternals, Halloween. I'm talking about the guy who plays. Wow.
I couldn't tell you what those.
Man, my brain just.
I remember at a convention back in the 80s, a Star Trek convention, and they had the Next Generation Klingons,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had, you know, the TOS Klingons, and they were talking about it. And Gene Roddenberry just said, they're like, well, how do we explain that? Gene Roddenberry said it was easy. I had no budget. Because I got a bigger budget now. That's how I explain it. And that's all he ever said, because I have a bigger budget now.
He always said, people would ask him when he was making Next Gen and stuff, they would ask him, oh, this happened in this one. Why is it different now? And he looked at him like, because the canon's loose.
Yeah, because he goes, we wrote it that way. That's all.
He's like, I can look and see that didn't work. I don't like the way it turned out, so I made it better.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Oh, how do you explain that away? They're captain's logs. They're not you're not seeing the actual events that happened. You're seeing an idea of what happened based off the logs that are being read to you. You know, that was like a make of the log.
And that was the best thing I saw in Galaxy Quest. When they're trying to explain the online blueprint with the episode and this thing and that thing, he goes, how do we explain that? It's a TV show. It's not a real ship. It's just he just kind of went a little bit on there. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you write the show to fit what you're good, the story.
Yeah.
You know, just because online blueprints that came out 30 years after the show, you know, or 25 years after the show. Like even today, when they released the, not today, but when they released the full blueprints of Deep Space Nine,
mm-hmm.
there were things on there that just weren't what was in the show. And I think they did it just to fill space or whatever. But
on those blueprints, did they put a spot where it said Robert Pizza dies here?
No. I still, every now and then when I'm in one of those.
You need to get a copy of those blueprints
and just put
put a dot, and right beside it put you died here.
Yeah.
Or pizza died here. It'd be great, man. It'd be great. Peter Dinklage is the name of the actor I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah, we just every now and then I'll put on the episode Way of the Warrior, watch myself die, sing a little chorus of Glory Days, and go on my way.
But like I say, I'd like to make a sci-fi show where you got an alien race, and the first time you see him is Peter Dinklage, and then wait like 3 years, and then bring that alien race back, and have Terry Crews be the character, and watch the fandom throw a huge fit. That's not what they look like. That's not that race, and be like, yeah, it is. It's the human race. Deal with it. Like they look different. It happens.
Yeah, stand me next to Peter Dinklage and in between Andre the Giant, and tell us what our human race is supposed to look like.
Yeah. Sorry, Crashly got me ice cream, and I don't want it to melt.
Yeah, I ate mine before the show. But yeah, to get back, I don't know if Hollow Queen, if you watched Orville this week. I know Kerwin's kind of slacking on that one.
I am slacking on it.
That's all right. Well, I mean, you got stuff going on. You got a business going on.
Pizza. 98% time, out in the living room, the kids
Yeah.
have control of that TV, which is sad because we just bought it.
Yeah.
75-inch LED 4K, beautiful TV because I broke the last one.
Uh-oh.
It was an accident. I was mad because the Blu-ray player was unplugged, my surround sound system. And I was like, someone unplugged it, and I went to just literally do that, toss it on the Blu-ray player because I was going to pull out the cabinets and plug it all back in later. Yeah, I it went a little too high, and it hit the screen just at the right angle that it broke the screen.
That sucks.
Crap.
Oh, let's see. Hollow Queen didn't catch up on it. All right. I mean, last week's episode, I still hate. Me and Robbie are still in a little virtual protest on that one. I mean, you know, I watched that one as a father and nothing else, and it kind of still, we all hated it.
Yeah.
This week was, again, I don't know if Seth MacFarlane is like, he really turned his game up a couple levels this season on this show. Because it kind of gave you an origin story of the Kalons this week. And I was like, you know, the whole show, this whole week, even this whole season. And now they're saying another season is up to Disney for the Orville. I wonder if Disney bought that too? Because I know right now it's on Hulu for us. I don't know what it's on.
Yeah, Orville was on Fox. Disney bought Fox. So Orville is owned by Disney.
Yeah, because I mean, but it went from Fox to Hulu. Is that the same thing? Fox, Hulu?
Fox is Disney and Disney is Hulu.
Oh, okay, yeah. I get.
Well, and Fox was Hulu. When Disney bought Fox, they got Hulu as well.
Oh, okay. And I know there's an online petition for another season of the Orville. And if he keeps stepping his game up like he is, oh my God, I would love to see another season. I love it. It's not like I started rewatching that too from season 1. And it's not all burp, dick, and fart jokes like season 1. This is a serious season that it's got just enough one-liners and comedy in it, like to be appropriate. It's not overly done. It's not the Family Guy in space.
It's got enough to still be a Seth MacFarlane. But
and you know what? Even
Family Guy in space like it was.
Every other show I've ever seen him done, he's even got less. He'll throw 1 or 2, maybe 3 little things in there, but it's definitely become a really good serious show.
The older you get, the more serious you become.
I guess. Well, let's keep him aging then, because I'd love to see him at a convention or somewhere and just be like, you know, bravo, sir. You know, excellent.
No, I definitely need to catch up and watch it, but
yeah,
kids have
granted. I know the guy's got staff, writers, and a whole production team. It's not just him sitting at home in his house popping it out, but still, he's the producer, the creator, the production guy. He has the final say, kind of deal.
Oh,
but
he's the star, and he's the star. So
yeah, so he's got a probably, I'm sure, the biggest say in it of all, and he's definitely stepped it up this season.
No, I definitely wouldn't watch it, but like I said, the kids have the TV in the family room.
Yeah.
And my TV right over there is where I could watch it, but Crashly decided she wanted to watch Vampire Diaries again. So we know how that turned out.
Well, ever since Strange New Worlds, the last episode of that.
Well, that's what it was. Is she finished the season? We finished the season finale, the series finale, the final season of Legacies.
Okay.
And she was like, "Ooh, I gotta go back," and she started watching that all over again. I tried to get her to watch Strange. She sat down to watch the finale of Strange New Worlds because Stefan's in it.
Yeah,
and she just couldn't get into it.
Really?
Yeah,
you should have her watch Balance of Terror first.
I guess it's too slow for her.
Oh, see, that's where I thought it was really good with Balance of Terror. It kind of had the two captains going against each other, kind of thing.
With me, that's one thing I always loved about Star Trek is it always tried to be more
cerebral.
Yes, thank you. Because I was about ready to say more intelligent.
Yeah, well,
But
cerebral.
it tried to be more of a thought provoking show
Yeah.
instead of just a ooh flashy lights in action. Let's go.
Well,
You
I
know.
noticed that's kind of what Discovery and them were in the beginning. It was just like it was almost like the JJ verse in our universe.
Well, yeah.
I think the Orville has had more social commentary this season, like TOS used to, in the Next Gen and all them. But yeah, wow, yeah. I actually got my Star Trek fix this week too because my sister's boyfriend, you know, his father and mother and family, they're all Star Trek fans. I mean, huge ones.
Is he a Star Trek fan?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, so he's approved.
Yeah. And his father's birthday was last weekend. He turned 70.
Ooh.
What they wanted me to do was go over there dressed like a Klingon for his party and make him a Klingon for his birthday. As a matter of fact, I don't know how to pull him up here on my screen, but let me see if I can send you a couple of these pictures while we're talking.
Send him to Crashly.
Send them to Crashly?
Yep.
On Messenger?
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's see. My mother sent them to me here. So let me see if I can download 2 or 3.
All right. While you're doing that,
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
Gore the God Butcher was beautifully played. You know, Christian Bale is an amazing actor, and he did an amazing job. Did it look like him from the comics? No. Was it 100% comic accurate? No. However, we could not get 100% accurate Gore the God Butcher because Sony has film rights to a large chunk of that universe. And the biggest part there is the Necro Sword. The Necro Sword is symbiote.
Okay.
So you got the whole in the Marvel comics, you've got the whole King in Black series. There's this whole symbiote world, and this whole section that with the same thing that Venom came from, and that is part of what the Necro Sword is. So they did a little bit, like you could tell that it might have some symbiote ideals to it, but they couldn't go all hardcore on that, obviously, because you can only play with your own sandbox. And the Thor movies, just they're big movies. They're still making them, but they're focusing on Spider-Man when it comes to their connection to Sony.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, there you go. I sent them.
Okay.
I mean, there's one in there that's just the look on the guy's face when he saw me come in. It's like priceless. He turned 70. He looks like he's 5. It's awesome. I had a good time doing it. Told them about the stream. Told them about, the channel and everything else.
All right. So we're going to go here.
As a matter of fact, I was wearing my Klingon General's uniform there.
I'm going to go here and I'm going to go share. Share screen. We'll do this. We'll hit share. All right, there we go.
Yeah, there's me and him. Last one we took. These are the costumes. I made a quick costume for him. That was me putting the prosthetic on him.
Oh, crap. What happened?
Yeah,
There we go. Okay, we'll just do this.
one of his pictures of the two of us at the end of the night.
It looks like he's having fun.
That's the one right there. It was priceless when I walked in.
Oh, he saw you and he's all like, yeah.
Oh, they had Star Trek pictures printed out all over the.
Now,
as soon as I walked
did
in,
he
the wife
know-
started putting them up.
Did he know that you do the whole Klingon thing?
No, he had no clue. My sister's boyfriend knew. My sister, his mother, and his brother, everybody knew and knew what was going on. He didn't have a clue.
But I mean, did he know that you had done Klingon
No, he didn't know.
before?
No, he had no idea. He even walked around with the outfit on. Now it was last Saturday or Sunday. Last Sunday, I think. And it was like 94 degrees here last week. And he walked around in that outfit outside to his neighbors. He walked around, like showed his neighbors, knocked on their doors. He was having a blast. I was having a good old time with it.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Oh man. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, man. But yeah, back to Thor: Love and Thunder.
All right.
The Gore the God Butcher. It was still. Crashly said it better. If there was something the movie was lacking, it was explanation, like it was substance. They could have done a lot more of Gore butchering gods.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot more of Jane becoming Mighty Thor. You know, as she put it, they skipped a lot that she wanted to see. Like they went with the storyline of Jane having cancer. They went with the storyline of her being Mighty Thor, you know, getting Mjolnir. And as far as Mjolnir being destroyed, what they showed was she going through chemo. Dr. Selvig telling her, that, you know, he's done some tests and it looks like the chemo's not helping. Her sitting there and then just feeling different, like feeling like something's calling to her, reaches over, picks up a book, and Mjolnir's in it. So then she goes to New Asgard, and they had gathered all the broken shards of Mjolnir and had it on display.
Yeah.
And when he walks up, it starts floating and spinning. And then it cuts. And then the next time you see her, she's Mighty Thor, and apparently she'd been Mighty Thor for a little while.
Huh. Crashly!
They straight up got you going.
I thought I was out of frame.
It's like the eyebrow look, the little, you know.
I love his eyebrows.
But yeah, so they, you know, they skipped the whole thing about how she handled getting the powers. You know, how did she transform at that moment?
Sorry, I read Hollow Queen's comment.
What'd she say?
What'd she say? I know it's Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, whatever.
Well, do like Darcy in the first.
All right, so
do it like
she
Darcy in the first one.
Mjolnir.
Yeah, Mjolnir or whatever she was saying in the first movie.
It's been I've heard it pronounced multiple different ways. It's a made up word that can be pronounced however they want. All right, Mjolnir. So she picks up Mjolnir. You don't get to see that. You just see Mjolnir's fragments spinning around. However, what really is funny is when Thor sees Mjolnir again. He straight up, like, it's like seeing an old flame. Like, he sees Jane, he's like, it's an old flame, but then he's all like, you going with her for? Like, he said, come on. They play.
Well, here's what I don't get. It was in the last Avengers movie because Captain America was using it.
He took it back.
Okay, but then how did it break again?
No. Mjolnir broke at the end or during Ragnarok.
During Ragnarok, yeah.
In Endgame, Thor goes back in time, holds his hand out, and Mjolnir comes to him. And he goes, I'm still worthy. And takes Mjolnir back to the present day.
All right,
and then Captain America
then
reaches out, and Mjolnir chooses him. And he can go.
That's funny.
You asked me if I could, Hollow Queen. You asked me if I could. When Captain
Mjolnir,
America
Mjolnir, Mjolnir.
when Captain America goes back to return the Infinity Stones to their time, he takes Mjolnir with him.
Stop
Okay.
it!
So now the only Mjolnir in the 616 MCU is the Shattered one.
Kerwin, Neil, Nor.
Mjolnir. It's Mjolnir.
Moon.
Better than my Jolnir.
So
Just say the hammer. Just say the hammer. Jesus.
I like saying Mjolnir though. You know, it's like saying Quesadilla.
Yeah, right. What's for dinner? Quesadillas.
I'm gonna drop you off in Illinois.
But it turns around. And the comedy that I love this. Some people thought it was stupid and childish and but there'd be parts where Thor would be reaching out, like sitting there, like trying to get Mjolnir to come to him,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you just see Stormbreaker slowly moving around,
That was my
Yeah.
slowly going like, "I'm your hammer now. What's wrong with me?"
Yeah.
And then he starts having issue with Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker's jealous about Thor wanting Mjolnir back. So, it was just comical. They gave Stormbreaker some personality, and you find out that Thor is the reason Jane becomes Mighty Jane, because when he was with Jane, he was talking to
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, Mjolnir Hammer, and
Why is it still funny?
goes, "Always protect her," and then you see that it gets enchanted, like Odin was able to enchant it with the
There you go.
all who holds it and stuff. And
My
there's
favorite-
there's
My
another
favorite part with Mjolnir ever is just when Captain America picked it up and Thor was just like, "I knew it." It was the best part. I like that.
Oh yeah, but I love those. The whole interaction with Zeus was fun. To me, the movie was just fun.
I think,
I
yeah, I
mean-
gotta check it out. Let me see.
Don't get me wrong. I would like a more serious Thor character than the direction that they've taken him to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And Thor pronounces it wrong. It's Mjolnir all day long. Mjolnir, Mjolnir, and then Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
And then Mjolnir. Manure.
And,
Manure. His hammer manure.
Name it Steve.
and as you know, this weekend is Shore Leave up this way towards Maryland. Is the big Shore Leave convention, the fan convention.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of non-Star Trek guests. There's a few. There's a couple I want to see, but I don't think I'm going to get to go because I have a free ticket to go, but it's
Yeah.
2.5 hours away. And gas being what it is up here at almost $5 a gallon,
Yeah.
I'd be using my gas for like the next 2 weeks budget to get there. But Brandon Routh was supposed to be there.
Oh, Superman
Eddie
himself.
McClintock from Warehouse 13
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be there.
God, I wish they'd bring
And
Thunder Holder.
And from Lucifer, Ellie Lopez. Little Miss Lopez was supposed to be there, and I wanted to see her too, but it doesn't look like
That's
I'm gonna.
worth the gas.
Huh?
It's worth the gas just to go have a conversation with her. She seems awesome.
Well, I know Anna now, instead of just getting the stock pictures now, will draw a picture of someone to get it autographed. And because I like Superman and Brandon Routh, she drew this one.
Yeah. It's really good.
45 minutes.
Good
You
Lord.
should- I don't know if I showed you the one she did of David Tennant, but he was talking to her for a good 10 minutes about that. And yeah, I wanted to go. It's a lot of the Star Trek people that we already know,
Mhm.
like at the table and everything we have, but just to hear that little, I picture it in my head, like I can hear Lucifer in my head going, "And Miss Lopez," with the voice. That and Pete from Pete Latimer, Eddie McClintock from Warehouse 13.
Mhm.
Uh,
It was also in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, he was in a few things. I don't see Damon in anything, Hollow Queen. I haven't seen him.
That's Crashly Crashly.
Oh, it's Crashly. All
Queen's
right, I
the one
thought it was
that's
Hollow Queen.
like a banjo.
I never see Damon anywhere. Now that Stefan is now ingrained in history just because he played Captain Kirk now. So he'll probably be in a few of them from now on. But Shore Leave and Farpoint are the two big fan ones every year. One's in the winter. Shore Leave is here in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking I have a ticket, but with everything I have to do around the house, you should hear the numbers clicking in my head, trying to justify the gas to go down there, and I just can't.
You've got the gas to go down there.
Food.
Then how much food, and then it's not like you can just go down there and be like, okay, I paid for the gas. Now I get to have fun. No, it's like I paid for the gas. Okay, now every line I stand in is going to cost me quite a bit of money.
But usually we have our table down there every year. The Starfleet International, the Sovereign, our group has a table. So usually we can get to the people before the thing opens in the morning. That's how I get a lot of my pictures and autographs before they open. But I have a feeling the ones that I want, like Brandon Routh, is $60 just for an autograph. And I like Superman, and I thought Brandon Routh was really good. I just think the movie he had was done poorly. I don't think it was him. I think it was the movie itself.
Oh yeah, no, he got his redemption arc in Arrowverse.
And that was my best thing with the crossovers when they did him as the Kingdom Come Superman. I was like, that's Superman. That's like, it couldn't have been any better if it was Christopher Reeves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And at the same time, he can't really complain. I mean, look, he's living the life.
Oh,
he's living. Look who he's married to. I mean,
What are you trying to say?
he's got it. He's got the life.
he's got a hot wife.
Look who you're married to.
I'm living the life too.
That's what I thought.
But you remember Nora? You remember the character Nora Dark? And
Yeah, I knew her.
yeah, that's his wife in real life.
Yeah. I have that.
I mean, I've met Henry Cavill, and he's fun, but he's almost too proper
Who?
when
Henry
he does
Cavill.
stuff.
Who? Is that Lucifer?
No, it's Superman. The newest Superman.
Is Lucifer
Not
cool?
from Lois Clark. Oh, I'm
The
sure
fun-
he's cool as hell.
The fun one I want to hang around with again is Jason Momoa. He was a trip.
Oh, I bet, man. I bet.
Wait,
I don't know why the guy has bodyguards. He was 1.5 feet taller than all those
He
bodyguards.
goes to conventions. He gets to do that stuff. That's why I
was
miss
Jason
going to.
Momoa cool?
Yeah, he said he was the fun one to hang out with.
Really?
Just him and the guy that played Teal'c on Stargate, the SG-1, the
Not Robert.
the black guy, the bald black guy with the gold thing on his head.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was Christopher Judge. Christopher Judge. He was hysterical too.
I don't know. I've heard rocky things about him.
Who?
Because I like that.
Xavier,
Actor. He's like one of my favorite actors.
not Patrick Stewart. New Xavier.
And Split.
The young guy? I don't know. I've never.
Come on, Halloween. What's his name?
He's like my favorite actor of all time.
Oh.
I love him.
Yeah, I mean, I love going to the conventions. It's great. You get to see what people are like in person, and it's just hysterical. And they're fun. They're normal people.
Momoa had a bodyguard.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is 1 foot taller than all those bodyguards anyway. I don't even know why he's got them.
James
Yeah.
Okay.
McCabe.
James McCavery. Yeah.
McCabe.
McCavery. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard McAvoy. James McAvoy. James McAvoy. I've heard others. I don't want Halloween to get mad that I'm pronouncing your name again.
Pronouncing his name wrong.
Yep. Now, see, Pizza. When you met Momoa, was he on a project at the time?
It was after Batman versus Superman.
Right after Batman vs Superman. So was it possibly while he was filming Aquaman?
Possibly.
because even with people like Momoa, when they are filming a movie, when they're in the process of filming, even if there's like a gap, like say they've wrapped up filming, it's a post production, but
Yeah.
they may need them to come in for reshoots. If they do public events like that, their insurance requires them to have bodyguards, or the studio requires them to have bodyguards because they're insured still. They're still under the insurance contract of that film.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they were.
So,
Because I know he only did, in Batman versus Superman, he only did the short, like the little film thing where they showed like on the computer screen. And then obviously in Justice League, they did all that. He was probably filming something in between, but I don't remember.
It could have
what.
been Justice League they were filming. Who knows? I mean, it could
Yeah.
have been either one. It could have been a different film he was working on too. But
The only thing that bends me is Affleck never does these things.
no,
I heard Affleck doesn't do anything like that.
Honestly, can you blame him? He was going to. He was going to back when Daredevil came out, and everybody gave him hate.
Huh.
No one showed Affleck any love. They all hated him.
Yeah, fuck.
You know, it's the same with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, he sneaks into conventions, but he doesn't do them because of all the hate he got after
Green Lantern.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern. Like, why would you want to go when they're going to hate on how you did your job?
That's what some of these, I mean, I'm a fan. I like to think I'm a hardcore fan and all that stuff, but
Mhm.
the way there's these people that show the kind of hate they show,
And that's
I
the
can't
thing.
even imagine that.
It's like, and that's how I think of it. You know, I'm like, these people, these actors go in, they do a role, and it's not the biggest kicker is when you get an actor like Affleck. He was a fan. It wasn't like he was just an actor that got a role. No, he was a comic book fan as well. You know?
Yeah.
So he went in and gave it his heart to a character that he enjoyed, that he wanted to give, and then the fans give him all kinds of hate. If I were that, if somebody could be like, "Hey, you would come to a convention and sign some autographs," I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no. Why? Why do I want to go to a building with a bunch of people that hated me?
I heard he was like that though through a lot of stuff because I heard Kevin Smith busting his chops like as some of the movies Kevin Smith used to do, like with Mallrats and Dogma and all those things.
From what I understand from reading, I don't know any of them, so I can't say 100%. But from reading what was coming out when all that was happening, from what I understand is with the whole situation, and even Kevin Smith has said this in interviews, the thing that happened, the fallout between Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was Kevin Smith running his mouth. And what it boiled down to was they both were, all three of them were rising stars. The problem that happened is it hit a point where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck did this as Kevin Smith still, went up. And I think what part of the problem is Smith would run his mouth about being a little jealous or whatever. There were reports then saying that Smith would say stuff like, "I had to direct them. I made them who they are, and they'll just leave me or this and that and stuff." And they even played, they poke fun at it too when they did Jay and
I know when they did Jay and Silent Bob, yeah.
When Matt Damon goes, "Yeah, and sometimes you just got to do it because it's an obligation,"
Because you told your friend you owe your friend, and they both look at the screen.
Yeah, so they poked fun at it, but at the same time, I mean, and when you have that kind of relationship with your friend where you've got some jealousy going on and some bitterness, it's gonna erupt. But they've rekindled. They're back.
Yeah, I've seen Affleck in
Clerks
the new
3 trailer.
Clerks 3 trailer. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I can't wait.
And I love the line in that where it's the one guy going, "You can't shoot me in the third act. What if there's a sequel? Sequel? What am I, a hack?" Yeah.
All right, I got to show this. I got to show this this comment for those in the back.
Uh-oh.
Here's a comment by Hallow Queen for those in the back. Let's read it out loud for those who can't read.
Yeah.
There's a very vocal part of the fandom that needs to STFU.
Yeah. STFU. There you go. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's a movie, it's a fandom, and I realize how much we enjoy it. I mean, come on. Star Trek, everything I got, I could probably do a 360 on this camera right now, and there's not an inch of my house you won't see something Star Trek in, or otherwise. I showed him that. But, and I'll bitch a little bit about how the Klingons look. I'm not but I'm watching it. I'm certainly not hating on the actors.
Yeah.
For, oh my God, did you see the Klingon she played? No. Come on. Grow up, people.
There's nothing wrong with being critical.
Sorry.
There's nothing wrong with critiquing something. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, it is a small part. It's not the full fandom, but
right.
They're the ones who are the loudest that it's annoying.
The squeaky wheel getting the grease, so to speak.
There's nothing wrong with the whole situation. Yeah, that's the thing. If you've got ball bearings, all it takes is one ball bearing to make the loudest noise and make you feel like the whole part's bad.
I won't say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'll say the squeaky wheel is the one chapping our ass about it, because they're the ones making all of fandom look bad. And because everybody was like, that's what I didn't like about Trekkies, the first Trekkies movie, is it made us look really bad.
It seemed like it was trying to make fun of Trekkies versus just be Trekkies. Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, I mean,
I run into people who turn around and go, "Oh, they ruined the franchise. They ruined it. Oh, it's ruined."
Nah, come on.
I can't. They're onions. I can't eat stuff with onions on it, right?
Yeah.
I like it. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do. But I just can't. I can't stomach it. Personally, it gives me heartburn like crazy. If I go to a restaurant that I go to, and they've got 10 things on the menu, and they go, "We've got this new item," and I order it, and it's got stuff on it I don't like, do I turn around and say, "Oh, this restaurant's ruined my childhood. This restaurant needs to be shut down. How dare they put that on the menu? I had faith in this restaurant until they showed me that dish.
Yeah,
it's the whole thing's shot. That cook needs to be fired." Just because you don't like one dish,
it doesn't ruin everything.
Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you have to get it.
Right.
There's other things.
There's other things to
watch. Some people like it. Like, I like Brussels sprouts. A lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts. Doesn't mean they need to take it off the menu.
I mean, and I understood with Discovery when it first came out, you got a bunch of new people that get to put their spin, their interpretation or whatever on the show. Superman. They were working with some really, big names. I saw when they were doing behind the scenes, they had some really big names doing the effects, the prosthetics, the makeup, the costumes, the props. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll always go with the Batleth. I got my Batleth. To me, that's a Batleth,
Mm-hmm.
I know in Discovery, they look very, very different. In the JJ verse, they look very different. Go put that back up. And
isn't that what they do?
Am I going to, stomp around and scream and everything's ruined? No. We come on here, we talk about it. That's kind of what we do. We talk about it. Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed this. This kind of, But
they do that with other superheroes. They change it so a new generation could also enjoy it.
Well, you got everybody that wants to dip their toe into the Star Trek universe. And these guys didn't just dip their toes in. They jumped full force in with the armor and showing off the new technology, the 3D printers for the armor and the spacesuits and the batlets and the mechlets. I mean, my childhood is not ruined because they changed the design of the batlet. Do I like the Discovery Klingons? Not a fan, but I'm still, doing my thing. I'm having a good time. It's just... Am I going to run up and down and send hate mail to the actors because they played a Klingon that I didn't like? No, come on. It's a TV show, dude. They had a bigger budget. They wanted to show it off. Come on. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, Hallow Queen. if you don't like the new stuff, it doesn't do anything to the old stuff. The old stuff's
Right.
still there. You can still watch it and ignore the new stuff. That's the whole thing, right?
Right.
You can ignore it. And if they come up with something new and you like it, watch it.
You don't want
have
onions.
to like not
You don't want
everyone
onions on your burger? Don't order them.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
everyone has to like everything. That's what it boils down to. And it's just there is a lot of fun with what we're getting in the nerd world. I mean, there's a lot of fun with it, a lot of situations, a lot of different, I would love for some shows to come back. I would love to get Eureka and Warehouse 13 back. That would be fun. Doesn't have to be exactly like it. It could be a remake. I don't care. It just would be fun. You get these movies. Here's Marvel. What I want to see from Marvel is I want to see Marvel Studios. I know we've got Marvel Studios. That's the whole point I'm saying it this way, right? Go out there and look at what movies that Sony Pictures puts out. Look at the movies that Warner Brothers puts out. Look at the movies that Disney puts out. The movies that Lucasfilm has put out, right? Marvel Studios is a film studio. Not every movie and show they make needs to be Avengers. I like what they were doing with coming out with the cartoons and the different styles of shows. I want to see more of that. It can still take place in the same universe. It can take place in different universes. I don't care. The comics they released took place in different universes. You've got Ultimate Avengers. You've got 616 Avengers.
Yeah.
Miles Morales doesn't take place in 616.
No.
Miles Morales is Ultimates. It's a completely different universe than the main Spider-Man universe, They can do that with the films. Marvel can make action movies, but at the same time, they can make romance movies. They can make multiple different genres of film. They are a studio. And would it be awesome if they all took place in the same universe, per se? That would be great. That would be awesome. Even if it's just the same character walking across the screen and they're just like, yeah, it takes place in the same studio or in the same universe. That'd be awesome. They don't all have to be the exact same. And there's too many people out there that we've got a Marvel musical, Halloween. Did you not watch Hawkeye?
Oh, God. That's what I liked with Lucifer when they would throw the musical ones in there every now and then.
Yeah.
I giggled through those, and they were great.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's I want to see Marvel Studios become more than Avengers and stop. I know they're scared. I know they're scared because people are going to be like, "Oh, well, that wasn't Avengers. Oh, they're taking a risk, and that movie sucked."
Yeah, I want to see more of a variety, more.
I know they're scared of that, but part of the problem is they're not taking big enough risks. They're not. Eternals was not a big enough risk. It was still trying to go along with the Marvel. I think that's why I loved Ragnarok and I love Love and Thunder so much, is because it's still that action movie. It's still this character, but it's a different style. It's a completely different style of action movie.
Yeah.
It's not the same as Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's why I enjoyed Miss Marvel, because it's not the same. It's that teen style show, which, I'm sorry, you don't have to be able to relate to the character to enjoy a product. Do I relate to anyone in Miss Marvel? Yes, I do. I relate to her dad. I'm watching the show and I'm busting up laughing. Every time he says something, he's my favorite character in the whole dang show. So yeah, I can relate to it because I can relate to her dad. But I enjoyed the show. People are like, oh, it's all over the place. It's a mess. No, it just doesn't follow what you want because, one, you're not a teenage kid.
Yeah.
And two, you're wanting Avengers. That's what you're wanting. You're wanting that. When they need to make everything. That's my thought. Marvel Studios is a studio. They need to make everything. I mean, not everything, but every style, every genre. There's no reason whatsoever, Marvel couldn't have that indie style film submitted to the Academy. Why not, Marvel? Do it. You've got indie style books out there.
Yeah.
Adapt one of those into an indie style film. Look at what you did with Moon Knight, Marvel. That was amazing. WandaVision, amazing. What they're doing with TV is so different and off the wall. It's great. But
my only problem with TV today is the short seasons they're giving us.
But that's just subscription TV.
Granted, production time is a lot longer. The budgets, whereas they were putting out 26 episodes before, 23, 26, whatever. They're doing a bigger budget for 10 films now, or 10 episodes. Well, and you can see the difference in them with all the new technology and stuff.
Well, there is a huge difference. I mean, but that's the other thing too. It's like lower budget, 26 episodes. It take 26 episodes to pay for what you're getting. To even get half that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you want that. You want to rack in that money from those ads.
Yeah.
From those TV slots.
I mean,
but
I don't think they're with Strange New Worlds. I thought they could have gone a few more because it was episodic. It wasn't.
Oh yeah,
like Picard or Discovery or
They could have, but how are they going to pay for it?
Yeah, that's
they got to be able to pay for it, and they're just not going to get it unless they do ads. If I don't care if I pay for the service.
Yeah.
If they want to turn around and say, have a higher end, I think the ad-free part of a service should be. So many people are like, if they went $25 for ad-free, I would get rid of it. Let me pay the $8 for ads, and you pay $25 for ad-free. If you don't want to, watch the ads, because you know what? They make a lot more money off the people who pay for the ad version than they do the ad-free version.
I could tell you right now how the Star Trek series and things could make boatloads more money. Merchandise like Star Wars. Don't just gear it to the collector. Gear it to everybody, like they did for a while with the JJ verse. You could go into Toys R Us or wherever, find the merchandise.
But they didn't.
Don't just make the high end crazy shit and make like, we only made 1,701 of these. And I'm like,
yeah, Hello Queen. Yeah, it's like, come on, kid, just talk to your mom. I got that completely with it. I was right there. I was like, just talk to your dad. He'll understand. Come on, he was willing to go to con with you.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't want to leave Hello Queen sitting there with the comment.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, even though I think merchandising on Star Trek, like with Playmates coming back and things like that, and I almost think they should buy me dinner and stuff for some of the prices they're charging for anything. Make a normal, regular ranged price merchandise. You could still make the high end and collectible for that crowd, but make one for the other crowds as well. And speaking of merchandise, let's segue right into this. How'd your Eagle Moss thing go? I heard they went bankrupt and shit like that.
They did?
I saw a thing today on Google that said Eagle Moss Starships gone, Eagle Moss bankrupt. Something like that. I read that today.
I'll have to look that up. I contacted them, and apparently I was signed up, which I don't recall signing up for it. I was signed up for specials, meaning instead of sending me a Starship, they'd send me overpriced crap, and I would have to call them up and be like, or I'd get an email that I was going to get it, which 5 billion emails in my email. I'm sorry, I never checked my emails. I didn't blame them. It was on me. It was my fault. I should have checked my emails. I should have kept on top of it. It was my responsibility. I screwed up. But the moment I saw that, I was like, take me out of specials. Okay, great. And then I got a notification that I was taken out completely. I'm like, all right, cool. Works for me. Because I think what happened was the whole Star Trek universe, when I was looking at everything that was being emailed to me, on the site, you saw it had the different ships.
Yeah.
And I did get that one Discovery ship. but everything in my correspondence as far as emails all said Star Trek Picard universe.
And I thought that was in that little set of ships was Discovery with the detached nacelles.
The picture had it right there up front.
Yeah.
If you remember, we scrolled down to the ships that were available.
Yeah, we couldn't find it.
It wasn't there. It was all the ships they had sent me. I'm just
Okay.
so I got that email and I'm like, okay, thank you. Just don't ask me anymore.
Yeah,
But if they went bankrupt. I'm
make
sorry.
sure they don't.
I
Yeah,
didn't
make sure they don't
realize-
charge you anymore.
I didn't realize that our live calling them out on it would cause them to go bankrupt. Well,
Yeah,
the problem is they like you saw that link I sent you, right?
yeah,
It was the Discovery XL, the big Discovery ship.
yeah.
The big Discovery ship with a Burnham bust was on sale for like $20. You know somebody's upset because they paid like $110 for that.
Yep.
And then people can go out there and buy them on clearance for $20. There's no value, none.
No,
I mean, they're
it's just,
cool
that
and
was
all.
that was.
I'm-
strict-
I'm
yeah,
the first person to say value is what you hold into it. But at the same time, if I can turn around and go out and buy 70 of them at $5, why do I want to buy it for the price they're asking?
yeah. I mean, they're strictly for the collector. They're definitely just for the collector. I mean, granted, when we moved, my Shenzhou broke,
Oh.
and I was mad. You have no idea. And I've been trying to look on eBay to replace it. I got to look other places because on eBay you can't touch it for under $100. And
Is
now
it the
that's the
XL?
eBay community,
Was it-
bending the fans over and doing their thing.
Was it the XL?
Yeah, that's the one I had, the Shenzhou.
Okay, yeah.
And but you can't. It's the one that was the free gift. You paid the first month was $9.95. You got the Shenzhou and the Enterprise dedication plaque or whatever.
Yeah.
But my Shenzhou broke, and I really like that one, but I can't replace it, unless I give these eBay people a reach around and try to spend that kind of money for it. And I just don't have that in me to do it. So
Just give it some time. They'll come out of the woodwork.
yeah, I'm waiting. I still have some in the box that I haven't even displayed yet. I have the Baran. I have the ISS, the big Season 1 Mirror Universe flagship is still in the box.
And don't get me wrong, I'd love to have gotten some of the XL ones, or a lot of ships I still would have loved to have gotten, but for the price point, for what I was getting, it turned into a mystery box situation is what it turned into.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing, these are the ships you're getting, enjoy, it was here's this piece of junk. Here's this, we'll give you a good one. Here's another piece of junk. Here's another, what? Come on.
That's why I'm kind of off on. I was getting Loot Crate for a while, and it was okay. But then I saw Star Trek Loot Crate, so I signed up for that one instead. And that was every other month, respectively, whichever they were running late or whatever. And it wasn't really worth it. I got a few good things. I mean, a lot of crap. I mean, I got a Tribble from there that was supposed to be a Mirror Universe Tribble. It looked like a Tribble with plastic fangs in it. Like remember the Dracula fangs when you were a kid for $0.25? That's what it looked like. One of those with Dracula fangs in it. I was like, come on, man.
And speaking of other things that you expect to get a lot more of, and it doesn't, and you get gypped a little bit. For those of you who are expecting more live, we got to call it. It's 10:30. I still got some orders I got to get out. I want to get those labels printed. I got to do it by 12 a.m. your time, Pizza. So I got half an hour to get these orders.
I gotta do some of my sewing for the project.
So thanks everyone for coming out. Thanks Hallow Queen. It's been fun as always. Anybody who's watching the replay, everything, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Send any questions you still have, anything like that, send them to us.
And as always, live longer, prosper. This is the way.
See ya.
Nerdsters out.